We're driving a Toyota Crown. It's a tall, stanced sedan kind of thing. Coming up, we're going to explain why the Crown is so tall, and it's not the reason you'd think. But first, let's begin with interior.
Rather restrained in color and texture, but there are metallic looking bits which give it just enough accent to make it interesting.
I also like that they have limited the use of shiny black plastic to areas that you're not going to touch all that frequently.
I really like the practical touches in the interior. There's a lot of places to put your phone.
And there's like a little divider, so if you need like a longer space, you can pop that divider out. 2 cup holders in the middle. Door storage seems ample. You can put like a bottle there.
The seat is a little bit on the firm side, but comfortable.
Toyota historically has done a great job of removing pressure points, and I find that to be the case here. I'm holding well with the shoulder bolstering.
Speaking of the seats, I love that the metallic accent is here as well in the piping.
And in an increasingly screen-focused world, I like that there are supplemental buttons for key controls that you would want to use most frequently.
When I attempted to use the seat heater, I found that the first time I pressed it each time, it wasn't working, and I was going to complain about that until you pointed out that it's actually going into auto mode, which now I love.
Your confusion is completely understandable though, because when you push it, nothing happens on the lights here, but you get this tiny little indicator that it's in auto. Seated behind my ideal front seat position, I am the ultimate average 5'10" man with a long torso. Knee room is great. I can slide my feet just far enough under that I can get a good extended leg position. Headroom does clear because they've got a little cutout, but because it's cut out, if I lean forward, my head hits the front of that cutout part, and if I was any taller, I think I might have some real headroom issues. And where those headroom issues really come into play is in that middle position. That is a kid zone only. Though I do like the center hump for that middle position, which is flat, so if you had a kid there, it gives them somewhere to put their feet.
Yeah, but I don't like that bulky thing for the vents.
You don't like the bulky thing for the vents?
Yeah, because I guess
That does draw attention to the fact, though, that there are standard rear seat vents. Hooray! Assuming this will mostly be used as a 4-seat vehicle, you do have a rear center armrest, and there are drink holders in there, which is nice.
One feature that I think is rather cleverly integrated, the cover for your mirror is also a ticket holder.
Moving all the way back to the cargo space, so the trunk offers 15.2 cubic feet of space, average for a sedan. There's no real underfloor storage area, but there is a spare tire, which I very much appreciate. And then there's standard 60/40 split fold seats, which you're gonna need to really stretch on in there if you wanna flip that seat down without having to come around to the side of the vehicle. Child, how do you find climbing in and out of the Toyota Crown? And then what about getting a child seat installed?
No issues getting the child seat installed. The latch points are covered by plastic covers, which are easy to remove.
And easy to lose.
Yep. And legroom is ample enough back there that I believe a rear-facing car seat would fit as well.
As for safety, the NHTSA hasn't rated the Toyota Crown, but the IIHS has named it a top safety pick plus. Meanwhile, there's a full suite of active driver assist, including automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, blind spot warning, 8 airbags, and it also comes with full speed adaptive cruise control. Family, what do we think? Is the Toyota Crown family friendly?
Small family friendly.
Rear window test. Oh, almost all the way down.
How close?
Armrest tests. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4. I do wish that the armrests were a little bit more inboard. I have the seat at its lowest position, so this is about as accessible as it's going to get. But I can kind of fingertip the steering wheel and have my elbows out. Soft, squishy part, and then inside outboard, similarly soft. I'm going to go 75% inboard, 75% outboard. Hey, would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family, plus the occasional helicopter adventure? If so, you're welcome to subscribe. And if you really like what we're doing, you're also welcome to join our channel. Moving onward to style.
The exterior looks so sleek. The grille on many vehicles, it's just kind of a vertical block. On this, there are horizontal elements that gracefully curve up. The contrasting color really accents that, and I really like it on the front. On the back, however, it looks like a big clown mouth to me.
Clown mouth?
Yes.
Ha! Now, in the beginning of the video, we teased that we were going to explain why the Toyota Crown was so tall. You might be thinking like, oh, well, it's all-wheel drive and it sits up a little taller. Maybe it's something like a Subaru Outback kind of thing where like you can go off on trails and that kind of stuff. Ground clearance is only 5.8 inches. That's 0.1 inches more than a standard Toyota Camry. Where the added height of the Toyota Crown actually comes into play is something called H-point. That's where your hip sits in a vehicle. Unlike a standard sedan where you have to climb down into it, or an SUV where maybe you have to climb up, the Toyota Crown you just kind of slide into. And why is that important? Well, I mean, in our case, having a kid that can easily climb in and out. But let's say you have older people in your life, or maybe you are an older person, and the notion of climbing up or down into your vehicle seems a little daunting. This is perfect for that. H-point. Earlier you mentioned the contrasting paint options. It's a $1,000 option and it's only available on the highest platinum trim, which is the one we're driving here because we're fancy Muzios. Contrasting roofs have been around a while, so I guess it only makes sense that eventually that would extend onto like the hood and into the back.
And if you like contrasting black style, you might appreciate Flying Eye's newest frames. The round 9-ox frames are now available in this clear style with black temples. They look cool while still offering the same flexibility, durability, and comfort of Flying Eye's patented Resilimide construction. Whether you're a pilot or a mom with bad vision, they are the most comfortable glasses you'll ever wear. Click the link in the description below. You'll save 10% if you use the promo code Micah. Flying Eyes.
I don't know if we're in love with the look of the Crown, but it's certainly catching our eyes. What do you guys think? Do you like the Crown? Do you dislike the Crown? Tell us in the comments section. Onward to In Motion. I have a commute home up the mountain, and there's parts of the freeway that are this kind of undulating thing, and over that I found kind of a slight floating quality, but the version we're driving, which is the highest platinum trim as mentioned, has adaptive dampers. We're cruising in comfort, very plush. But if we go to Sport, and then we could even go to Sport Plus, that kind of settles down the suspension. I'm also getting a little bit heavier steering efforts here. So if you want some of that adaptive nature, the platinum trim is the way to go. That's it for my day job at Kelley Blue Book. I went on the first drive for the Toyota Crown, and I found the standard Crown to be pleasing to drive in terms of ride quality. From a steering perspective, I noted a fair bit of dead space on center. And then when I got to the curvy roads in our mountain community, there isn't much feel. But I also don't think that people who are buying a Toyota Crown will necessarily care. Every Toyota Crown comes as a hybrid. Oftentimes when you have regenerative braking, blending with friction braking, it just feels unnatural. I can stop with reasonable control. Where I notice the brakes fall down a bit, let's say somebody in front of you immediately slams on the brakes and you have to brake hard, measuring the right brake pressure on the pedal in that emergency scenario is pretty difficult.
I had a similar issue. People were stopped on the road down the hill.
And it's like, All right, that's what I think. But what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. When you're comfortable, pull out and give it as much as you'll give it. It's a weird way to word that.
Here it comes.
Okay. Whee! How's that power feel?
That was an ample amount of power.
The version we're driving has the Hybrid Max powertrain, and it has a couple of distinct features versus the base hybrid model. One, this is turbocharged. Two, it comes with a 6-speed automatic transmission, so instead of having that like CVT kind of that you have in the basic hybrid, this has a little bit more of a traditional feel to it, but very quick. In fact, 0 to 60 times, 5.7 seconds in this one, which is quick. And then if you go with the regular hybrid, it's 7.6.
Often with a turbocharged engine, I feel turbo lag, but I didn't notice that at all.
That's an astute observation. What's happening is that because we have a powertrain that's hybridized, the electric motor fills in that torque gap at the bottom when the engine is still coming to life, and then the turbo kicks in and it does its thing. So it's a pretty good pairing having a turbocharged engine and an electric motor. Oh, and if you were so inclined, you've got paddle shifters to control that transmission. You will never touch those.
I touch them accidentally whenever they are included on a vehicle, and I hate them.
Very good then. See, I wasn't thinking about driver incompetence when I was making that statement. Thank you for correcting me. Any surprises when you turn the steering wheel, or is it doing what you'd expect?
It feels like there's this space in the middle where not much happens. But once I turn beyond that, it's easy to predict where it will go.
How's it working looking out of this thing?
I thought with the narrowness of the window back there, it might be hard to see out of. But visibility is good all around, and I like how it sits up a little bit higher, and I get a good view of the road.
If you were in the market to buy a tall sedan thing, would you be comfortable driving a Toyota Crown?
Sure thing.
Great. Well, I'm getting back in the driver's seat. In total, I think the people who are buying a Toyota Crown will like driving a Toyota Crown. Onward to remarks. In every Toyota Crown, you get these dual 12.3-inch screens. This is the same modern Toyota interface that we've experienced in other modern Toyotas.
There are icons on the side with all the different functions, easy to navigate the menu. It's a little monochromatic for someone with poor vision like myself.
Yeah, you want something more dynamic, like the clown-faced of this thing. Put that in here.
I wouldn't mind a clown face in there.
Doo, 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 doo. Meanwhile, the gauge cluster is telling me what I need to know.
And it looks attractive.
Also, special kudos to the optional 360-degree camera system. You cannot get that on the base trim, but I like the visualization, and it's got that quasi-invisible vehicle view. It gives you the awareness you need to be able to back out of a coffee shop without slamming into somebody. The infotainment system also has the Hey Toyota functionality.
How can I help you?
Can you turn my temperature down?
Setting the driver's seat temperature to 63 degrees.
Thanks, Toyota. The infotainment system also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless standard. Qi wireless phone charging also comes standard, so that's a very nice pairing, so you don't necessarily have to drag wires across your interior. You can use your phone as a key.
Ooh, I like that.
You can share the key with other people in your lives in case you don't want to have to meet up to hand off a key, because maybe you want to share your car, but you don't want to spend time with those people. And now it's kiddos' time to shine. Child, tell me, what is your favorite feature in the Toyota Crown?
My favorite feature is the center console.
Center console cover?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool too, but why do you like it, kiddo?
Because it opens on both sides.
How does it do that? What do you think, kiddo? Is it magic?
No, I think it's some kind of science.
Science? Well, I think you're right about that. It's cool having that double hinged feature because you can get in there without having to flip up and block the space, so you can quickly get whatever it is you need to hand to the child. Hey, look, kiddo, here you go, a plastic thing. You're welcome. And that was kiddo's favorite feature. All right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a 2.5-liter hybrid, pretty efficient, decent power. Then there's an optional 2.4-liter turbo hybrid here in the Platinum trim, bigger power, worse fuel economy. With either powertrain, all-wheel drive comes standard. Sweetie, may I share our trim recommendation?
Well, sure.
Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price, and I'm realizing that finger pointing is very accusatory. We're going to suggest the base XEL trim. It has all the essentials you'd need: 8-way power heated front seats, dual zone climate control, 5 USB ports, and smart key access, a feature I will not live without. It's also plenty powerful and quite efficient. $40,050 plus destination charges. And if you're ready to buy a Toyota Crown, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to know how much you should spend for your Toyota Crown and how much you can get for your current car. The Crown we're driving is a 2023 model, but the 2024 model is essentially identical. They've made a few minor changes with safety features, adding lane change assist and traffic jam assist to the Platinum trim now standard, and there's also slight price increases across the lineup. As for competitors, there really aren't any. The Kia Stinger, Nissan Maxima, and Chrysler 300 are all dead. One possible sedan alternative to the Toyota Crown might be the Acura TLX. And if you're curious what we thought about the Acura TLX, you can click right up here. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. Synopsis! In thinking about the essence of the Toyota Crown, they've taken a format that's basically dead, which is the sedan, and then they've reinvigorated it?
I mean, that's actually a better word.
That is a better word than reinvigorated. We're going to do that. We're reinvigorated it. It is the Tab, when it became an energy drink back in 2006, of sedans.
Wait, does that still exist now?
It doesn't? Moving on. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Toyota Crown. May I have a 5 and a 5? And you can get your high five. Bam!